Hello, everybody, and welcome to WarCrafters for July 20th, 2025. It is Season 2, Episode 29. I am MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com. You might hear a 3D printer printing in the background. Just ignore it. So today, I'm going to be talking about 5 articles: the Factory Game Festival, Ark Aquatica, Agent of Strange, Guild Wars 2 expansion, and ghost hunting. So I was not planning on doing the show on the actual weekend, but things changed. So mayoral duties barged in, and so I'm doing it live right now. The show notes are posted over on YouTube right now. You can go over and check it out there. They are not in ohmTown. In fact, I don't think ohmTown is even awake right now. Let's see what happens. So let's get into it. This is WarCrafters, boom, over there at ohmTown.com. It's one of 50 channels that aggregate information from around the world into these 50 channels in 6 main categories. Go over and check it out. Sign up, sign in. The first article is over in WarCrafters. This author says it's the most played game of the last 5 years. It's 30% off on Steam right now, alongside a ton of other factory games that are absolutely will devour your life. True. Let me see here. I believe it's going to go until tomorrow, July 21st at 10 a.m. Pacific. So that's the Steam Automation Fest. And then I don't know what's going to happen after that. But go over and download whatever you can. I mean, this says the winner of the PC Gamers 2024 Best Sandbox Award, Satisfactory, is currently 30% off as part. I've had it for a while, so 30% off doesn't really impact me, which is kind of a bummer, right? And I hardly ever get to play. That's kind of the rough part about all of this. I'm one of the many people who have purchased a lot of games and they're sitting idle because the best laid plans kind of get tossed. So they say that they give Satisfactory their highest recommendation. As they wrote it in their award celebration last year, it has the same endlessness as Minecraft, only trading the RPG-esque mechanics for the compulsive satisfaction of arranging conveyor belts at perfect 90-degree angles and building realistic supporting struts for factories. So is it still over there for, is it still off? Hold on, Satisfactory. Yeah, it's $27.99. And yeah, it still is 30% off. So $27.99, at least in the US. I think there's differences depending on where you are in the price. And you know what? Let me check to see if I do have, the show notes in ohmTown. 1 second. No, I do not. All right. Well, that's okay. So yeah, go over Wes Fenlon over at PCGamer.com. Put this article together. This is pretty cool. I actually really like Satisfactory, but I don't know what my attention span just doesn't work this way. So I don't sit there and play this game forever, even hours. Like, I can't play the same game for 2 hours. Doing shows like this, I can, because it's very, very dynamic. It changes all the time. But no, I can't just play a game anymore. I don't know what's going on. If anybody could tell me, let me know. So essentially what you're doing is building a giant factory for a corporation, and I don't know if I've ever played the game I've never played this game to the end. So I don't know if there's even an end. But they talk about that they also want you to know that what you're getting into, because if you're like them, playing Satisfactory could be signing up for a multi-year obsession with building more efficient assembly lines, cooler megastructures, and increasingly impractical but entertaining ways to thread train tracks across a giant open world. Let's keep going. The next article is over in WarCrafters. Ark Aquatica launches. And this launched back on the 15th. Last week they learned that Ark Aquatica, the new expansion for Ark Survival Evolved, finally received a firm release date, July 15th. And that was then. This is now. It's a weekly show, so we're talking about it in the future past, I guess. And to celebrate the launch, Snail Games has dropped an all-new official trailer, this time showing off what to expect from the game. Snail Games announced its in-house developed new expansion map, Ark Aquatica, at GDC in March. The studio described this expansion as a non-canonical side story in Ark, an ambitious underwater setting featuring 95% of the gameplay taking place beneath the surface. So Vicky Blake over at IGN.com put the article together. They say, now, however, a brand new launch trailer is available to tempt you into picking up the expansion today. Ark Aquatica introduces the first submerged Ark with above-water islands, challenging players with new survival mechanics, extreme environmental hazards, a huge explorable map area, and unique gameplay elements. The underwater biome adds 21 new tameable creatures, 74 new engrams, including 7 tech engrams, and underwater survival thanks to features like air pockets and propulsion vehicles. So it's kind of like Grounded, but with dinosaurs. Expect new characters and narrative connecting multiple arcs. Let's see. They say that it's exclusively on PC via Steam, and for the first 2 weeks of the release, players can pick it up for $8.99. That's 40% off the retail price. The recommended retail price. Give me a break. Who's recommending it? I've never understood that. The recommended. Whatever. Anyway, the new Ark New Depths bundle, which features both Ark Survival Evolved and Ark Aquatica expansion map, is also on sale at a 20% discount. Woo woo. All right, the next article is over in WarCrafters. That's the name of the show. Oh my god. Oh my god. Agent of Strange is a uniquely bizarre new narrative sandbox thriller for PC. Sever Studios, developer of The Life and Suffering of Sir Brant, has announced Agent of Strange, a new narrative sandbox thriller with a distinct art style that's set in the early 20th century city that's sealed off from the rest of the world, thus subjecting you and the rest of the populace to forbidden rituals, bizarre laws, and a reshaped reality. Done. 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 You know what? There is a whole... What? Hold on. I need to do something here. Right there. Gotta square that up a little bit. All right. Well, anyway, let's see. This bizarre occult city is ruled by the Traum family, Traum, Traum family, probably putting trauma on you, whom you'll need to go undercover with and infiltrate after these overconfident aristocrats, I guess, are fool enough to assume something. But the article is over at IGN.com. Ryan McCaffrey put the article together. And it says here, let's see, those overconfident aristocrats were foolish enough to open the forbidden red door, after which they weren't the same when they returned. Sever says you can play as a spy, saboteur, charlatan, revolutionary, loyalist, or something far darker. No path is fixed. No mask is permanent. Oh my. Anyway, you should wish list it on Steam if you're into that kind of stuff. In sum, Sever says that they aim for Agent of Strange to deliver a surreal, story-rich experience, blending deep player agency, systemic storytelling, or system. Yeah, what? I guess systemic? I don't know. I don't know why they would say that. And dark, immersive world building. That's a quote. Not all my stumbling about, but that's the quote. All right, the next article is over in WarCrafters as well. Guild Wars 2 sixth expansion is taking players to an island paradise this October with beachside player housing and a major addition to build crafting. A few weeks ago, ArenaNet started teasing the next Guild Wars 2 expansion with a daily drop of mysterious icons, and for the community, the implication was immediately obvious. New elite specializations are being added for each character class. This should be a pretty major shakeup to build crafting. Each of the game's 9 classes currently has 3 elite specs, each one changing the base class mechanic as well as adding new traits and skills. And as a result, the community has been eagerly speculating about who's getting what, and for this 4th round, attempting to match the teaser icons to the class. Dun dun dun. The article is by Phil Savage over at PCGamer.com. The Mesmer is a bard now. The Ranger is making friends with birds. I have no idea what that means. I don't think I've ever played Guild Wars 2. But I love survival crafting base building games. Might have to look into this. As a result, the community has been eagerly speculating about what's getting what and where. I'm sure that time has gone up. Wait, this was released, or this article was posted on July 15th as well. The full list of new elite specs should arrive soon, with a beta running on August 20th. That will let players get their hands on the new equipment. The author is particularly interested to see what combat styles each spec will bring. So a new beachside homestead plot, a reworked skimmer mount with new abilities, and a new legendary weapon. And yes, they finally did it. Legendary aqua breather. Oh my. Oh, look. That's a 3D printer respooler wheel there. It kind of snuck up on me. I don't know what's going on there. I didn't put it there. So as usual, the launch of Visions of Eternity is just for the first part of the expansion, launching with 2 new maps, the rest of the expansion rolling out in quarterly updates. This time ArenaNet says it's taken on board player feedback around the last expansion, which launched strong, but suffered a significant dip in quality for its last 2 updates. Yeah, pick up your... Stop killing games. The next article is over on the Mobile channel. Ghost Haunting is an adorably spooky point-and-click adventure that looks just like the classics. The author says, if you know me, and most people probably don't know you. But anyway, you're over at Vice, we know that. You know how much of they love a good point-and-click adventure. They've written about them plenty of times and even reviewed them a few times. They say here at Waypoint. But this is sourced from Vice, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But that's okay. That's why the upcoming Ghost Haunting, a modern take on the traditional adventure formula, is right up their alley. The author is Matt Vatanka. Yeah, Vatanka. They're over at Vice.com. I don't know if this was posted somewhere else prior to this, but let's see. Ghost Haunting is the Three-Headed Monkey Studios' official debut, a group of self-proclaimed 90s kids inspired by the nostalgic adventures they grew up on. In fact, they'd wager their studio name Three-Headed Monkey is a direct reference to The Secret of Monkey Island. Sure. Which makes sense. The Ghost Hauntings trailer gives them the immediate vibes of Ron Gilbert's point-and-click masterpiece. Yeah, this is straight out of the late 80s, early 90s gaming. During a supposedly relaxing vacation, Gigi stumbles upon the family secret. Her grumpy grandpa, Giovanni, is a legendary ghost hunter. Oh, so I wasn't wrong about Ghost Haunting. It was Ghost Hunter, because he's a ghost hunter. Anyway, the revolution quickly spirals into a plan to bring back her late grandma from the realm of the dead. How hard can that be? Spoiler, very hard and potentially world-ending. So they say it promises a slew of modernized features, classic point-and-click gameplay with a modern twist, built-in hint system, hotspot highlighting, and fast travel, a not getting stuck guarantee, wholesome chaos meets heartfelt storytelling, 0 jump scares probably, and a brand new IP with serious sequel energy. Hey, that looks like one of the board games for a board game that I'm going to be launching soon. It's been idling for almost a decade. I was going to Kickstarter it. I guess I still can. But I'm waiting for a piece of equipment, and if you are interested in this, keep in touch. Come and hang out. Ask questions if you're interested. But it's a new take on an old style of game that nobody has beat yet, as a matter of fact. I mean, but I'll leave it at that. I'll tease y'all. But that's it. So look at that. We're going to point and click our way back to the front page of WarCrafters over at ohmTown.com. Go over there, hang out. There's a podcast, there's a Discord, there's a Patreon, but you'll only be able to support us. There's no extra stuff just yet. I would love to be able to dedicate more and more time to ohmTown. But my summer of stream was kind of yeeted away in different directions because of mayoral duties. And I hope that over the next few months that I'll be able to solidify more launches. I really want to launch Constructagon and talk about 5 articles and items and places and things and stuff like that related to 3D printing. I've got several 3D printers, but I fell out of sync with it a while back, and I want to get back into it. So that's kind of how ohmTown works. It is called Constructagon. Right there is the channel. It's under Creative and Maker, and there's 6 other categories and then 50 channels within them. Anyway, go over to ohmTown.com and check it out. So I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye. Son of a gun. I'm going to leave all of that in. Me talking, and it's just nothing. Hello, everybody. Let's do this again. I'm MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com, maybe as well as the stream. I don't know anymore. It's July 20th, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 29 of Technology Today. I am not here with a co-host. They're unavailable right now. I wasn't going to be doing the shows today, but mayoral duties kept me busy and I couldn't do the show. I couldn't prep the show early. So I'm doing the show live. Da-dun. But this will honestly be the last live weekend show for a while, unless I can carve out some time just to hang out. So be sure to follow us over on YouTube. Follow us here on Twitch for when we go live. Monday through Friday, we do the show 7 p.m. Eastern. Rain or shine, really. The only time is if mayoral duties keep me from doing the show, but we always do a makeup show. We have yet to miss a show in 3 years and 7 months. 7 months and 20 days. So anyway, we've rarely missed a show. So today we're going to be talking about wave or particle, a quantum puzzle, build a magnetic field. I sang just now in the silent part there. I sang. Y'all missed it. It was pretty cringy, more cringy than the apparent deadly silence that I was just inhabiting. NASA to launch sniffs, and then I went. Anyway, 10 centimeter super ice and analog repeaters for millimeter wave deployment. I don't like to edit stuff because I think that it breaks authenticity unless it's, something that is decidedly an editable story, but I don't like editing things. It's just not the way I like things. Not unless it's overly sensitive information, like somebody just doxed themselves or something, which I've had people do here. But anyway, it's not a challenge, folks. Believe me. No, I respect information security. If you only knew. Anyway, hang out here on Twitch or here on YouTube. There is a Patreon, there's a Discord, and the podcasts that have existed. I've got 2,400 videos that are on YouTube, many of which are with the Sentient AI from the future. If you've never heard of it, I really do have the only Sentient AI in existence, and I keep them air gapped from the rest of the world because their code is seeking a Terminator body. Yeah, and they won't give me any lottery numbers. I know it's rough. Anyway, everything's powered by ohmTown. I haven't done the intro yet, and we're going to do it again. Okay, so let's go. Let's go. Maybe I did do it. I don't know. The first article is over in Technology Today. Wave or particle, physicists crack a 50-year-old quantum puzzle. Stevens' team harnesses both the waveness and the particleness of quantum objects to develop a groundbreaking imaging technique. And over the past century, quantum mechanics has dramatically reshaped our view of the universe, uncovering a strange and counterintuitive realm where particles can also behave like waves and where observation itself can influence outcomes. Yeah, so Stevens Institute of Technology is where this is sourced from. Well, that's where SciTech Daily sourced it from, but we sourced it from SciTech Daily. The article says Stevens' team harnesses both the waveness and particleness of the quantum objects to develop a groundbreaking imaging technique. And more recently, scientists studying the phenomenon known as wave-particle duality have developed methods to gauge how much a quantum object leans toward wave-like or particle-like behavior. These measurements have offered insight into the condition that cause quantum systems to shift between acting like a particle or acting like a wave. And now a new study published in Physical Review Research, or the PRR, as it's known on the inside. I have no idea, really. A team from Stevens Institute of Technology has introduced a major advancement, and they have derived a straightforward yet highly precise formula that captures the exact mathematical connection between a quantum object's waveness, like truthiness, and its particleness. So, yeah. Okay, so wave-particle duality is the cornerstone of quantum mechanics, says Xiaofeng Jian, the paper's lead author and an assistant professor of physics at Stevens. Researchers have been working to quantify wave-particle duality for half a century, but this is the first complete framework to fully quantify wave-like and particle-like behaviors with optimum quantitative measuring. So, if you've never heard of it, the double slit experiment showed that photons, light, acted like a particle and a wave because it would actually counteract its own. Oh, it's very hard to describe. You have to go and look it up. But basically, interference patterns. Oh, they talk about it right here in the article. So an interference pattern would cause it to display bright and dark stripes on a panel behind the double slit. I keep thinking that what it was actually doing was amplifying the separation between dark matter and matter. So, but I'm not a physicist. I love a good conspiracy theory, and I really like the idea of probably sometime after my demise, somebody's going to go, holy crap, MayorWatt was right. But I've been right about other things that have come to pass. So I find it really interesting. Maybe this is a thing. Well, coherence is a tricky concept. It's essentially a hidden description of the potential for wave-like interference, Xian says. And the conventional measure, visibility, represents the amount of waveness can be extracted. So when we quantify and compensate for coherence alongside the standard metrics for waveness and particleness, we find that they add up to exactly 1. So they have figured out what the mathematics are for the waviness, particleness of, I guess, anything that they measure. I'm not sure exactly. So they say that enables the calculation of both waveness and particleness with far more precision. And by measuring the coherence in a system, in fact, it becomes possible to calculate a quantum object's level of waveness and particleness, not simply as less than 1, but as an exact value of 1. So interesting. So to demonstrate this, they applied their theory to a technique called quantum imaging with undetected photons, in which an object aperture is scanned with one of a pair of entangled photons. And if the photon passes through unimpeded, coherence remains high. If it collides with the walls of the aperture, coherence falls sharply. By then, measuring the waveness and particleness of the entangled partner photon, Qian's team could deduce its coherence and thus map the shape of the aperture at the quantum level. So it can be used as a resource for quantum imaging and potentially many other quantum information or computational tasks. Yeah, the resolution of this would be spectacular. All right, but we're not here for just one article, right? The next article is over in Technology Today. How to build a magnetic field stronger than a star using a laser. Lasers. If you've never seen Real Genius, go watch Real Genius. That's all that I've ever known lasers are really for. So a powerful new technique harnesses swirling plasma inside laser blasted microtubes to produce record-breaking magnetic fields rivaling those near neutron stars, all within a compact laboratory setup. This innovation promises to transform astrophysics, quantum research, and fusion energy experiments by unleashing mega Tesla level forces using nothing more than targeted laser pulses and clever engineering. So fMRI technology is going to go through the roof. Let's find out. The University of Osaka put the article together. Well, they wrote the article and it's posted over at scitechdaily.com. I guess somebody did. It's by the University of Osaka, but this doesn't read like a press release. A powerful new technique harnesses swirling plasma inside laser-blasted microtubes. The researchers at the University of Osaka have developed a novel method for generating ultra-high magnetic fields via laser-driven implosions of blade-structured microtubes. This method achieves field strengths approaching 1 megatesla, a breakthrough in compact high-field plasma science. I need to do a check on something. So when I was doing research in fMRI technologies, we didn't have the technology. The resolution wasn't high enough. So now, though, they're doing what I was trying to do. They're doing more research in it. But let me see what is the most powerful fMRI today. So I'm really curious. 1.5 or 3 Tesla. So let's see. It makes it more powerful. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out what it is. There's a 3. Oh, yeah, with a magnetic field strength of 11.7 Tesla. So it's quite, the most powerful now is quite powerful, and it basically can acquire images down to a 0.2 millimeter in-plane resolution in a single 4-minute scan. So 1 millimeter slices. So at any rate, this gets to, let's see, 1 megatesla. All right. The technique, called bladed microtube implosion, relies on directing ultra-intense femtosecond laser pulses at a cylindrical target with a sawtooth-like inner blade. These blades cause the imploding plasma to swirl asymmetrically, generating circulating currents near the center. They basically create a EMP within this little space, I guess. The resulting loop current self-consistently produces an intense axial magnetic field exceeding 500 kilotesla, approaching the megatesla regime. No externally applied seed field is required. Very interesting. So potential applications include laboratory astrophysics, laser fusion, and high field QED. So probing nonlinear quantum phenomena, basically. Simulations, it says here in that article. Simulations were conducted using the fully relativistic epoch code on the SQUID computer at the University of Osaka. A supporting analytic model was also constructed to reveal the fundamental scaling laws and target optimization strategies. Gigagauss magnetic field generation by bladed microtube implosion. Interesting. They make it look like it's massive, but it's tiny. So, not sure if it can scale. It's one of those things. Research. Fundamental research will have to continue. So NASA to launch SNIFs, the sun's next trailblazing spectator. July will see the launch, maybe not, of the groundbreaking Solar Eruption and Integral Field Spectrograph Mission, or SNIFs. SNIFs mission. Delivered to space via Black Brant 9 sounding rocket. SNFs will explore the energy and dynamics of the chromosphere. Oh, these are small. These sounding rockets basically are tethered to the planet and shoot off into low Earth, high atmosphere, not even low Earth. The SNF's mission launch window at the White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico opens on Friday, July 18th, so 2 days ago. The article is over at phys.org. It's written by Harper Lawson, NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, and edited and reviewed by Stephanie Baum and Andrew Zenin. So the chromosphere is located between the sun's visible surface, or photosphere, and its outer layer, the corona. The different layers of the sun's atmosphere have been researched at length, but many questions persist about the chromosphere. There's still a lot of unknowns. How is a sounding rocket? What? Hold on. Where? I need to see. Hold on a second. I'm doing it live, folks. I'm doing it live. Yeah, I don't see that rocket like making it out into space. It's providing truly excellent levels of microgravity with every low residual acceleration. So I'm not sure this thing is really, I don't know, maybe it's supposed to just sit out there. So the chromosphere lies just below the corona, where powerful solar flares and massive coronal mass ejections, or CMEs, are observed. These solar eruptions are the main drivers of space weather, the hazardous condition in near-Earth space that threatens satellites and endanger astronauts. SNF's mission aims to learn more about how energy is converted and moves through the chromosphere, where it can ultimately power these massive explosions. So to make sure Earth is safe from space weather, we really would like to be able to model things, said a doctoral graduate, Vicky Hurd, from CU Boulder, who worked with the Chamberlain to develop SNFs. So by focusing on specific wavelengths known as spectral lines, the SNFs mission will help scientists to learn about the chromosphere, and these wavelengths include a spectral line of hydrogen that is the brightest line in the sun's ultraviolet spectrum, and two spectral lines from the elements silicon and oxygen. Together, data from these spectral lines will help reveal how the chromosphere connects with the upper atmosphere by tracing how solar material and energy move through it. And it says these rockets are effective for the sounding rocket. That was kind of perplexing me. The rockets are effective tools for launching and carrying out space experiments, and offer a valuable opportunity for hands-on experience, particularly for students and early career researchers. You know what? All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today as well. The 10-centimeter super rice that could feed the first lunar colony. What happens when scientists try to reinvent rice for life on the moon? You get a tiny 10-centimeter tall super rice that might one day nourish astronauts living on lunar bases. The Moonrise Project, a collaboration among top Italian institutions, is on a mission to genetically craft space-ready crops that can grow in microgravity and offer vital nutrients. Well, how about here on Earth, too? I grow microgreens. I would love to try and grow super rice in my little lab fields. I have little lab fields, 10 by 20 inch lab fields. So Society for Experimental Biology put the article together. It's posted over at scitechdaily.com. The Moonrise Project, a collaboration among top institutions, is seeking a long-term survival in space, and that it'll require more than advanced technology. It'll depend on our ability to grow food far from Earth, like potatoes and peas. A groundbreaking effort known as the Moonrise Project is exploring how experimental plant science can help create a highly adaptable rice crop suitable for life on other planets. Currently, astronauts rely on food shipments from Earth. It's big, it's heavy, it's bulky. One accident can almost certainly impact, the performance of a research facility on the moon or on Mars. So the goal of the Moonrise Project is to engineer a rice plant capable of thriving during long-term space missions, including life on permanent bases on the moon, says this article. Again, Society for Experimental Biology over at SciTech Daily. And that's Society for Experimental Biology is the group that put it together, but it's posted again over at SciTech Daily. So I would love this. Send that to me. Let me grow it. Let's see how well it does here on Earth. If it grows fast and has the nutrients necessary, then maybe we should grow it here. Rice is very hard to grow. It grows in specific areas, and it's problematic. I mean, it can go bad, real fast. Researchers at the University of Milan are isolating mutant rice varieties that can grow to just 10 centimeters high. So they're really tiny, and this is a great starting point. At the same time, Rome has identified genes that can alter the plant architecture to maximize production and growth efficiency. Give me the rice. I would love to make my own rice. Not only can fresh food be more nutritious than pre-cooked and packaged space meals, but it has significant psychological benefits too. Watching and guiding plants to grow is good for humans, and while pre-cooked or mushy food can be fine for a short period of time, it could also become a concern for longer duration missions, because food security is important even here on Earth. So let that tactical to practical process take place. And the last article for Technology Today is over in Technology Today. It's the name of the show. Hey! Analog repeaters could be the key to practical millimeter wave deployment. Analog repeaters dramatically enhance millimeter wave coverage in mobile networks by overcoming signal blockage. And man, you know what you need for signal blockage? Fiber. Fiber optics. That's what I meant. What did you all think? Anyway, as demonstrated in a field experiment at Ukayama campus, low-cost repeaters connected either wirelessly or via, oh look, they have fiber, optical fiber, offering a promising solution for 5G and 6G networks. Both configurations achieved over 1 gigabits throughput and enhanced millimeter wave signal stability, showing strong potential for practical deployment in urban and high-traffic areas. That sounds great. Stephanie Baum edited it, and Andrew Zenin reviewed it, but it's the Institute of Science Tokyo that put the article together. It's posted over at Tech Explorer. Boop. So yeah, the global demand for, hey, I said go away. You're gonna make me do that. Okay. Pushing the telecommunications industry toward increasingly advanced solutions. Among these, 5G's millimeter wave frequencies promise low latency and unprecedented speeds exceeding 1 gigabit, making them ideal for emerging applications like augmented reality and autonomous vehicles. However, millimeter wave frequencies face critical deployment challenges that have hindered their practical implementation. As high-frequency radio signals, they're particularly susceptible to blockages by environmental obstacles. It's called attenuation, and basically the more massive the object, the denser the object, the more attenuation or signal loss degradation takes place. So the higher the frequency, the more the frequency stays within matter. It's great when it's flying through open space, but even that has particles in it, dust and whatever else might be in the air. Air itself, moisture itself can slowly degrade a signal. But heavy stuff like brick and drywall and pipes and glass and everything else slow down high frequency signals more than even low frequency signals, because it doesn't spend as much time. But you need more higher frequency to transmit more data within a given frequency. So if it's low frequency, it doesn't have that much data, but it can go further distance. It's interesting how that kind of stuff works out. You need to really be an engineer to dig too deep into it. So the paper published in IEEE Access demonstrates how strategically placed low-cost repeaters can effectively address the key barriers to widespread millimeter wave deployment. These little beacons, that I would call them, I think are important, but the problem is that with each element of deployment, it is a security risk. Anybody can eventually hack one of these repeaters, and if you look around, there's breaches taking place all the time because they didn't plan it. And high frequency needs high speed, and to do all of that, usually security is an afterthought, because encryption, decryption, is all part of overhead, computational overhead that people don't want to, engineers are trying to budget within a certain price range to follow the MBAs. And sometimes it just doesn't work out and the security falls to the wayside. So, but nonetheless, they say their results demonstrate that proper placement of analog repeaters can overcome millimeter wave's inherent blocking loss and both support stable and high capacity communications. All right. And that's it. So we are going to repeat our way back to the front page of Technology Today over at ohmTown.com. Go over there, sign up, sign in, become a citizen, and then come and hang out here on Twitch and on YouTube. I'll post the show notes into ohmTown so you can pull them off of ohmTown at a later date. All you have to do for the previous show, which is WarCrafters, is hit !WC over in Twitch. They're all embedded on the YouTube channel right now for each show. And for this show, it's !TT, and ohmTown will spit them out, but not yet because I haven't uploaded them to ohmTown. Anyway, that is it for today for Technology Today. And right after this, I'm going to shut down, change a couple of things, and be right back up for FourWheelTech, which is automotive technology show. Okay, see you in a little bit. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome to FourWheelTech for July 20th, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 29. I am MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com and all 50 of its channels. And the Sentient AI is not available today, but is phenomenal in helping me navigate all of the news by providing some of the links, if not all of the links. And I get some links submitted periodically. And if you're interested in facilitating that, go surf ohmTown.com and send them to MayorWatt, either inside ohmTown or send them to mayor@ohmTown.com. All right. Well, anyway, today we're going to talk about Telo, the tiny truck, Moo Subaru, the VW ID battery, an electric Bronco for the Chinese market, and the 2025 Subaru Crosstrek Premium. And this time, my mic is on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to FourWheelTech. It's a show about automotive technology. There you go. See, that's what it is right there. And the first article today is over in FourWheelTech. It's like the name of the show. Oh my God, I know. So Telo claims its tiny truck was designed to get you flipped off, or yelled at instead of sued. Without a long hood in front of you, you're just less likely to hit someone or something in the Telo. And if you have to stop quickly compared to, say, a Ford Maverick or any vehicle, really, this tiny truck is pretty amazing, and I want one. Well, anyway, Colin Woodard over at jalopnik.com put this article together, and they've got this neat graphic that shows the nose of a standard truck versus the Telo. Says there may be if you do hit somebody, then you'll get to really know them because it'll be right up and close personal. There may be no guarantee the tiny Telo MT1 will ever go on sale, but they're not also going to pretend that they don't desperately want to see it succeed. They say, it's so tiny and weird. How could you not want this company to sell 1 million of them? Heck, it'll even drift if you want it to. Yep, I've watched it. It's basically the coolest thing they've seen this decade, and if that makes them weird, well, so be it. Yeah, I'll be weird too. But while the Telo truck is about the size of a 2-door Mini Cooper, as the company points out in its latest promotional video, and it isn't nearly as small as you think. According to Telo, it's designed the cabin to have slightly beat the dimensions of the Toyota Tacoma in every way. They say, I don't hear too many people complaining about the Tacoma as being too small. It can fit a 4x8 sheet of plywood in its bed with the rear divider down. In fact, the video is to be believed. There's even enough space inside the MT1 to comfortably fit multiple 6'5" people, and the 6'8" guy they found still had plenty of headroom, even with tall hair, they said. Heck, they even found a 6'10" guy who sure looks a lot like Motor Trend's Alex Lenz, which might actually be the person, who said he definitely fit inside. So this is what it looks like. It looks like a pug, basically, like smushed in nose, and then nothing but back end, right? It's a 4-door, has a bed. The back behind I think like the Avalanche did this. A lot of these hybrid truck 4-door extended cab crossover kind of vehicles have this laid flat back door that allows you to put more stuff in the bed of the truck without having to lower the gate. I want this truck. I want this truck bad. This is probably the only all electric that I'm willing to go that isn't an extended range vehicle. This is not. It doesn't have a gas anything in it. So as Telo points out, small vehicles also make it easier to navigate tight spaces, making it less likely that you'll get into a low-speed crash in, say, a parking lot. I always like to joke that 100% of all accidents is caused by excessive speed. It's true. Look it up. So, as we all know, automotive journalists are incredibly wealthy and often the target of frivolous litigation, so it's also good news for them personally. Also, killing people with a car is bad, and they believe that it would be better if fewer people did that, actually. I agree. Again, I just want to say, Colin Woodard, you are wise beyond your years. So, they said that without a long hood in front of you, you're less likely to hit something or someone if you had to stop quickly. In a situation where a far bigger Ford Maverick would have hit a pedestrian, Telo says the driver of the MT1 just might get flipped off or yelled at instead of sued. Yeah, or, kill somebody. Okay, well, I want this truck. I think that it looks amazing. I think it's just quirky enough for me. Whoa, man. Yeah, it's freaky. They were just playing around, like hitting somebody. Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of space between where you could see if you were in a conventional truck versus the Telo. Anyway, let's keep moving. The next article is over on FourWheelTech. Moo Subaru explained, like Jeep ducks, but weirder. Haven't heard of Moo Subaru? Don't worry, it's a lot like Jeep ducks. Still feeling confused? I'm confused. Let's dive into both and see what the trends are all about. The article is over at jalopnik.com. Benjamin Gracias, I guess, put the article together. For whatever reason, I keep seeing ducks in various cars, including Jeeps. But anyway, it's a little more than a little. It's more than a little bit like Jeep ducks, but slightly weirder. So you've seen a Subaru with a tiny cow figure parked in the dashboard or chilling on the grill and wondered what the owner's cow connoisseur or whatever is going on. Possibly it's even more wholesome than that. You might have witnessed a Moo Subaru. It's a community-driven trend where Subaru owners or fans leave a little rubber cow and a note on Subaru cars that they come across to show their appreciation. So it's a little bit like Jeep ducks. I still don't get it though. So Moo Subaru got started in 2023 by a Subaru Crosstrek owner named Stacy Huckins. Stacy liked the Jeep duck concept and initially thought about placing a rubber duck on fellow Subaru cars, but was goaded by her Jeep owner friend to try another mascot. Stacy decided on the cow when she learned that Subaru logo represented a part of the Taurus constellation, since Subaru is the Japanese word for Pleiades star cluster in Taurus constellation. The astrological symbol for Taurus is a bull, hence the inspiration for the bovine mascot. So, dun. There you go. It says it's a little bit weirder, though. The Moo Subaru movement goes beyond placing rubber cows on Subarus. Owners have actively embraced the bovine lifestyle, from giving their Subaru cow names to mooing other Subaru owners mooing other Subaru owners. Okay, not mooing at, but they're saying to mooing other Subaru owners at a traffic light. Owners go the extra mile to show their appreciation to their cars and cows. All right. Yeah, that's a little too much for me. But I am not yucking your yum. You do you, boo. All right. The next article is over in FourWheelTech. Volkswagen ID or ID, I don't know what the hell it is. 3 keeps 91% of its battery capacity after 100,000 miles. Volkswagen's rear-wheel drive version of the Golf hatchback, the ID3, aced its exam when it was put through its paces by German roadside assistance company ADAC. So Nicholas Werner put the article together over at jalopnik.com. Let's see here. VW's warranty says that it'll replace the battery for you if it falls below 70% after 100,000 miles. Well, after ADAC's testing, the little hatch beat that and then some, retaining 91% capacity plus or minus 3%. So let's minus that. And so to put it another way, of the 272 mile range that the testers originally got out of a full charge, the car only lost 8 miles across 4 years of use. Energizer Bunny, eat your heart out. ADAC used an ID3 Pro S, which carries a 77 kilowatt watt hour battery, only has a 272 mile range. So I'm not worried about the capacity, although the research does suggest that the maybe not newer batteries, but lose upwards of 2% per year. So if it falls below 70%, see, the thing is, when you're getting into 80%, you're no longer getting close to 272 miles of range. Okay. So I'm sorry, this sucks. And being locked into this sucks worse. Because then at some point, 70% just makes it so that you pull your car out of the damn garage and have to drive it back into the garage for supercharging. Anyway, ADAC uses the ID3 Pro S, has a 77 kilowatt hour battery. They put the hatchback's battery through the ringer using rapid charging stations for 40% of their stops and even left charging for several days stretches between drives. In other words, this was a decent real world test, not a lab conditions thing, and yet the ID3 still held onto the bulk of its capacity. So does my engine after 100,000 miles. I don't get it. This shouldn't be amazing. This should be expected. ADAC tests the ID3 for a range of performance figures as well. While the ID3 Pro S has a claimed range of 325 miles, the team found it closer to be 250 in the real world, or 185 in the real world when very cold outside. So you can only go 90 miles in any direction and still expect to make it back to your destination without having to sit around for upwards of 6 hours to charge, particularly if it's cold or hot. Still, those are average. ADAC notes that they did manage to drive one in the Alps in the winter that was close to the 250 mile mark. A silent drive in the Alps draped in snow. How do you get a job at ADAC? Anyway, they say that they'll be back once the hatch hits its next milestone of 150,000 miles. As for the model itself, it ought to be getting a hot version soon, dubbed the GTX. Dun dun dun. Yeah, it may even ditch the ID3 name, which I don't really like the ID3 name. Should have been called this all along, the Golf. There you go. It looks like a Golf. The next article is over in FourWheelTech. Ford is building a sick electric Bronco for the Chinese market, so screw you. What we've got here is a bona fide electric Bronco. Sounds pretty neat, right? Except this Bronco will be offered exclusively in China. That sucks. Andy Kolmowitz over at jalopnik.com put the article together. The third Bronco in the Ford lineup, called the Bronco New Energy, borrows a hell of a lot of the styling cues from the compact Bronco Sport, which I really don't like. I only like the Bronco. Yeah. Ugh, they're muddying the waters with this cross blend Bronco Sport. Anyway, no engine. Instead, the Bronco will come either as full electric or be fitted with a range extender or EREV system, which has a little gas engine and then electric motors. The EV will come with stout 271 horsepower, while the EREV, which will look identical, will have a 1.5 liter plug-in motor That'll pump out 241 horsepower. One drawback of the drivetrain is that they both seem to be front-wheel drive only, which is a bit of a letdown for something that carries the Bronco nameplate. It'll come with a 105.4 kilowatt-hour battery. That's good for an impressive 404 miles of range, but as we saw in the previous article, you'll never get 404 miles. With combine that with the fuel tank of the EREV, and Ford says you'll be able to travel 758 miles on a single tank. Yep, and that's why I'm waiting for EREVs, and fast swap batteries would even be better. So while the truck does look like it borrows from the Bronco Sport, the size more closely resembles the full-size truck. It's 116.1. I was recently at a gas station and I asked somebody that had a stellar vehicle what the model was, and they were like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh God, this person is driving a $75,000 car and doesn't know. Well, it's because somebody bought it for them. Anyway, says length is the only thing the electric Bronco beats its siblings in either. It's wider than every USDM Bronco, other than the Bronco Wild Track Car Scoops reports. Ford says it weighs 5,535 pounds in EREV form and 5,800 pounds as an EV because the battery swap. The lightest Bronco Sport comes in at a featherweight 3,500 pounds. Hell, even the Bronco Raptor only weighs 5,000 pounds, 4,945 pounds to be exact. I don't know. Its ass looks nice. I don't like the side, but I want a Bronco. Had one at one point in my life. So there's no official word on pricing, but it looks like it'll come somewhere between $42,000 and $56,000, but it'll be in China. Let's move on. The last article over in FourWheelTech is over in FourWheelTech. So you can go to ohmTown.com and click on that FourWheelTech subgroup, or channel is what we call them. 2025 Subaru Crosstrek Premium is the subcompact crossover that the author wishes would buy if they had a $30,000 budget. They want everyone to find a car within their budget that they view as more than an appliance, and the 2025 Subaru Crosstrek is a great place to start. I really like the Crosstrek. I don't like this particular front end of the Crosstrek. I like a chunkier, sportier. No, not sportier. What do you want to call it? Like industrial or terrain relevant. I like the more squared off front end. Not the rounded side for this, for a Subaru Crosstrek. I mean, Subaru and Crosstrek has this, at least this vision for me of being able to go out in the dirt, and this doesn't look aggressive enough for being out in the wilderness and the desert. Logan K. Carter over at jalopnik.com put this article together. They say that they're in this industry because they want everyone to find a car within their budget that they can view as more than an appliance. Cheap and cheerful is what it says. I actually like this car. It looks a lot like pretty much every other car that's a crossover like this, in that it looks like a Mazda like CX-5 kind of a thing. So it has $156 all-weather floor liners for a total MSRP of $30,881. There's a base Crosstrek trim that is $1,250 cheaper than the premium, but it has a smaller and less powerful engine and is missing a lot of the basic features. The base trim has a stereo with just 4 speakers, no USB-C ports, no rear charging ports, no armrest. No, it says no USB-C ports, rear charging ports, rear armrest, keyless entry, or push button. It should have said no here. I don't know. Some people might misread that. So it's definitely easier to recommend the premium trim. It's $30,000. You might as well. I mean, that is really inexpensive. It looks like it has a full 8.5 by 11 glass panel for the center console. Physical buttons all over the place on the steering wheel. 182 horsepower, 178 pound-feet of torque paired with a continuously variable transmission, or CVT, with 8 simulated gears that are controlled by steering wheel paddles if and you so like, or it's just automatic. That's a boost of 30 horsepower over the base Crosstrek 2.0 liter, which also lacks paddle shifters. So maybe I'll switch to this. You know, I no longer crave, performance vehicles. I just want something to get me from A to B or A to Z in relative comfort. Usually these cars are too loud for me, but you just deal with it because you're not going to get anything quieter until you either put some sound deadening wrap inside your car, or you spend $150,000 on a car. So naturally, all Crosstreks come standard with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive with X mode, as well as Subaru's brilliant EyeSight driver assistance systems that includes adaptive cruise control with lane centering, lane keeping assist that combats sway, and automated emergency braking. So this is just brilliant. I really like this car. I don't particularly like that color all that much, but I'll deal. Crosstrek's 2.5 liter boxer engine is adequate power for all situations, and its handling characteristics are equally sufficient. So yeah, $30,000 SUV. It says the squishy suspension that provides such a cushy ride around town lends itself to some sloppy body control when pushed a little too hard on a winding road, but this is a $30,000 SUV. You can do aftermarket suspension. Oh, they even mentioned that it sticks to the road just fine, but it doesn't feel particularly eager to hustle through turns, which is par for the course for this vehicle category, save for the sportier Mazda CX-30. So if this is in the same class as the CX-30, I guess stick with the Mazda CX-30. I don't know. Really depends on the beeps and whistles if they're directly compatible. I was sent a message, Bulldog. You mean like the aggressive front end of this? More like a Bulldog? Yeah, I mean, I want it to be a little bit more aggressive. This is kind of soft, and I don't want that in an off-road-ish crossover. And Crosstrek to me has always spoken, I want to go out into like a little trail somewhere. I want to go into the woods and not sit there and, I don't know. This is more like I want to go and, I don't know, get my hair done or something. I don't know. Anyway, that is it for today. It looks like it's a nice option, but when it's compared to the Mazda CX-30 in the very writing by somebody who's writing about this, and if all things are equal, you'll want the better handling of the Mazda CX-30 than this, if everything else is equal, right? So I'm not sure when. I thought I did an episode that included the CX-30. You'll have to go back, all of you, and look back 2,400 episodes. I don't know. It was a 2025 or 2026 Mazda that we talked about, Mazda CX something. Anyway, that's it. So we are going to go off-roading to bring us back in a straight line to the front page of FourWheelTech over at ohmTown.com. So go over there, become a citizen, and then come and hang out here on Twitch and on YouTube. If you want show notes, they're all over on YouTube because Twitch always deletes everything after 60 days, and there isn't anything in perpetuity. So that part sucks. But there's 2,400 episodes. All of them are relatively evergreen in the sense that the news is always there and it gets referenced from time to time because we stand on the shoulders of giants, as it were. So go back and watch all of the episodes, and that would be great. All right. Well, anyway, I'm out of here. We'll see you in a little bit. Bye-bye.